I am Christian Williams. I'm a CEO and manager of CWPT, which is a transformation online coaching service helping thousands of clients all over the world. I'm an international public speaker, author to my new book Start a Fire, and I've been bodybuilding since 2008. I've won multiple titles: Mr. Wales, Mr. England, Mr. London. I've represented the UK in the World Championships. I've come as close to silver medalist at the UK British Finals. And today in this video, I'm going to share with you why I've decided to walk away from bodybuilding. I'm going to share with you some of my experiences, some of the truths, and hopefully you will benefit from some of the knowledge I can pass on. So, before I get into the reasons why I decided to come away from bodybuilding, I'm first going to give you a little insight to how I started. Now, I was brought up in a rough part of South Wales called Merthyr Tydfil. It's full of violence, crime, drugs. Now, I'm very passionate about where I came from, but also it was leading me down a path that I knew I didn't want to go. Lucky enough, I stumbled into the weights room when I was just 15 years old. And I was able to vent all the frustration, all the confusion, all the aggression, all that negative energy into a positive one, which it did. I was able to get fitter, improve the way I look, improve the way other people saw me, and it led me down the path of the fitness industry. I started as a personal trainer. I was helping other people achieve their goals too. It led me into winning bodybuilding competitions, traveling the world, connecting with like-minded people, getting sponsored by different companies, whether that be food prep, clothing, gym membership, supplements, whatever it took for me to get to my goal. And I was also willing to do whatever it took to get to my goal. I was training as hard as I could train, pushing my body to absolute extremes and finding new capabilities and new levels that I had no idea I was capable of. Now, I've been lucky enough to be gifted with a lot of physical strength and a lot of mental strength. And when you combine these two together, the result you have is results. I was so focused on achieving a look that I had in my mind's eye, which was to be as big as I can, to be as shredded as I can, to be dominant and powerful, to use all that negative energy I thought of and felt at the time and fuel it into that positive way that I could be seen in the light I wanted to be seen in, up on the big bright lights of the stage, which I did a tremendous job of doing. And going back around 2-3 years ago, I actually achieved everything I desired. I looked the way I wanted to, I lifted the way I wanted to, people saw me the way I wanted to. But also throughout my bodybuilding career, it was probably the most time in my life that I've been the most insecure, which you can think is quite ironic, because how can somebody be insecure when they're up on stage and competing with next to nothing on? And let me tell you, there's no motivation like doing a competition, standing there in a pair of posing trunks, being compared against 20, 30, however many people who turn up for the show. Also, being there in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, all watching you, taking pictures, streaming it live on their phones. If that doesn't motivate you to look your best and to eat the right food and to work out as hard as you can train, nothing will. And like I said, I was lucky enough that I had the gifted strength, so I was able to push my body far beyond what I thought was possible. But because I was so focused on that perfected look, it was really hard to obtain and sustain that look all year round, especially when you wanted to grow new tissue. So I had to let go of that look, which led me to be more insecure about the way I looked. And when you're that big and freaky looking, turning up to the beach or the pool, you just get a lot of people staring at you, turning a lot of attention, looking your way, talking about you either behind your back or in front of your face, just, you know, overwhelming feeling of pressure, I guess, and judgment. And you're being judged. You're on stage in front of everybody. Now, like I said, that was never the reason why I walked away, because bodybuilding is a judgmental sport. It was because I achieved a look. And once I achieved that look, then for me, I didn't really have the desire to push my body like I was. Like I mentioned, I wanted to win bodybuilding competitions, I wanted to win the British finals, I wanted to win the Mr. Universe and all these other things, but they weren't the driving force for me. The driving force was to look a certain way for myself. And once I achieved that look, like I said, the passion to achieve something that you've already achieved is no longer there. So I contemplated the idea about walking away from bodybuilding. I've been doing this since 2008. I competed as a junior, I went into the intermediates, into the misters, and I was competing in 2019. So 11 straight years of competition. Some years I'd be competing 3-4 times a year. So I'd be dieting on preparation for maybe like 6 or 7 months of the year. And as I mentioned, I was so meticulous and disciplined and committed to my goal. Even if I wasn't in preparation, as in breaking down body fat to achieve a conditioned look, I was still in preparation for the following competition, because, as I mentioned, I didn't care about the way I looked. I was so focused on how I would look on that stage. There was a lot of sacrifices that would need to be done, which I accepted. It was part of the goal, and there'll be sacrifices I need to make now. But where I am now, and as my goal is to build a sustainable look that is very lean, very light, very healthy, there's no reason for me to get under that squat rack and put 6 20-kilo plates aside. There's no reason for me to power up the 75k dumbbells into a shoulder press, because the result of that is going to be just detrimental for the feel-good rewards that I want to achieve now. I actually work out in the morning now in a fasted state, and when I was in this preparation mode, and then by preparation mode I mean 10 straight years, 11 straight years, I would train only when I could peak perform. And I worked out it was around 2 p.m. I could get around 3 meals in before, 3 meals after. But it wasn't just the food I was performing better from. It was being more alert, being more active, feeling looser in my body. But like I said, now I don't have to go to the gym and kill it. I go to the gym and I stimulate the muscle, I exercise the body, because my goal now is to maintain what I've built over the years. The density, the strength, the muscularity, and shape the body, trim the fat, and condition myself, not just from the way I look conditioned, but internally as well. Now, there are many people that I work with who have the same desire. They are willing to die for what they want to achieve, and that is absolutely fine. I think you have to go into any sport with that type of mentality. You have to be willing to die, because you could die. I mean, if you think about it, like a boxer going into the ring, or a Formula 1 car racer go into a corner, he has to be willing to sacrifice it all, or risk it all even, if he has any chance of beating the guy next to them. So why I'm sharing this with you is, obviously now people see the change. You know, I'm kind of half the man in size, but I'm twice the man inside, I would say. I've got a lot more knowledge, I've got a lot more wisdom, I've got a lot more understanding. I've come away from the bodybuilding sport, but I still obviously help many clients compete and work towards a goal that they desire. But now that I've been away from it, my perspective has gone broader. My goals are becoming outside, not just inside, in terms of not just about the way I look, but about other things in my life. And I will always love bodybuilding. I will always be a bodybuilder at heart. Bodybuilding taught me what desire, dedication, drive, and discipline can lead to. Because I was the most disciplined person I know. because I only know myself. I was the most driven, I was the most determined and the most desirous, and I still am. The only difference is, it's not just about the way I look. Now I am building other areas of my life and sharing that with you. Another point I want to make is, obviously my goals now are just to maintain my size, not huge size, just maintain my muscle mass, improve my fitness and condition. So the way I train compared to the way I used to train is tremendously different. Now, there are people who do want to build as much muscle they can, and do want to build as much strength, and do want to look big, and do want to look freaky. It's going to take more than exercise and a muscle to achieve this. I'm not under any illusion of what I could do. What I'm doing now could build the muscle to win any competition, or even the muscle I had. You have to give the muscle a reason to grow. Forced adaptation. If there's not a big enough reason, there's not a big enough reaction, adaptation. You actually have to train like you're going to die. We used to go to war on leg day, on back day, on chest day, on every day, and we built a very respectable physique. We wasn't gifted, well, I certainly wasn't gifted with my genetics in terms of the way I looked. I was a chubby kid, then I was a skinny guy. I was gifted with strength, internally and externally. And I was gifted with the understanding, because I saw my body changed rapidly, and that was just because I put my 100% focus into what I wanted. So there's been a big shift and a big change in the way I look, the way I sound, the way I feel, the way I think, the way I communicate. But bodybuilding was always my foundation, and I will always be a bodybuilder at heart. And will I compete again in bodybuilding? Maybe. Maybe when the time is right. Maybe when I have the passion and the desire again. But what I do honestly know that it will not be driven by any aspiration of winning multiple titles and climbing to the top. Because the other thing with my career path is I work with so many people. And some people are just genetically blessed to flow on the stage. They have the right tie-ins, the right muscularity, the right muscle bellies, the right skin. The skin is very important. Very important. If you want to be close to the top, your skin is imperative. It needs to be clear, it needs to be crisp, it needs to be able to capture the muscularity from any lighting, because you're not going to get to the top without getting the sponsorships you need, and being welcomed onto any photo shoots or video shoots. It's the same like a modeling contract. I mean, you're not going to get out of the skin really, and unfortunately what comes with a lot of bodybuilding is anabolic steroids, which can cause the skin to be oily and inflamed and everything else. Maybe even just the way you train, pushing the body and sweating more, can create a lot of imperfections in that area. But like I said, there are people who are just gifted to do great on the stage. Bodybuilding taught me what I can achieve from this and from this. My mind, my heart, my will to do what I want to do. And from coming away from bodybuilding, I've been able to see many areas of my life and understand I have so many gifted talents in just other areas that I was just ignorant to see, because I was so focused forward on one thing, which was great, and I'm so thankful I was, because that also taught me what hyper focus can do when you focus on one target and only one target, and everything else starts to disappear. So I hope this video has been helpful. Comment below any questions you have. I'd love to hear about your own personal journey, why you got into bodybuilding, why you started working out, why you come away from it, like if you did. And if you haven't done yet, please subscribe. we are trying to gain a lot more followers. We have got a lot more content coming out there. So, and just like this video. Have a nice day. I'm Christian Williams as always. #BoldBold.